So, we're going to take a look at the concept areas and subconcept areas of cybersecurity and digital literacy. I'm out on the state ed website under the PDF of the actual learning standards. You'll see on your screen that you have cybersecurity listed at the top. Along the sides, you'll see the subconcept areas right now of risks and safeguards. You see the grade bands along the top and the grade band identifiers or the standard identifiers as you go through just below that. When we look at risks, there's only one standard within this area. Here we're thinking about how we can keep our information private, and we're thinking about the types of personal and organizational information we do want to protect. As we start into safeguards, we're thinking about how we can keep our accounts secure, and we're able to describe those physical and those digital safeguards and how they are protecting ourselves. As we continue on with safeguards, you'll notice that the next standard, so the standard 3, doesn't start until grade 2. So, for kindergarten, first grade teachers, you don't have to worry about this one standard. But once we hit second grade, we start to think about why someone might choose to share their account. Like maybe you share Disney Plus with grandma. And then as we get into the older grades, we're thinking about the trade offs of using some of the technology that we do and what security risks we're putting ourselves into. When we get down to K or cybersecurity number 4, we're thinking about the decoding. This is where you can really pull in some history of like the Navajo code talkers or the Caesar shift, or you could do different things like breakout edu and cryptograms. Have a little fun with your students and think about the importance of this and how it relates to our encryption online or even our passwords online. And then finally, we get into response. Here, we're thinking about what's okay to click on, what's okay to open, how to identify anything that's suspicious, and think about the ways that we can protect ourselves if there actually is a data breach. And then we switch into digital literacy. And this one, again, is broken down into the sub-concept areas of digital use and digital citizenship. We start with digital use by something very basic, keyboarding. We want to make sure that by the time they get to ninth through 12th grade, they're proficient on that keyboard. In For digital use number 2, here we're thinking about the tools that we use. So anything digital. So if you use Google or Microsoft, you use a program like Nearpod or Seesaw right then and there because you're using an online program, you're already hitting this standard. But the idea is that they're using the standard to communicate, to collaborate, to share their ideas, to spread kindness. You want to be thinking about that positivity with the digital use. As we continue on to digital use for digital literacy 3, you'll notice that 9th through 12th grade is off the hook for this one because we feel that by the time they hit 8th grade, they should have good search skills, which is what this standard is looking for here, is how well our students can use search. If you Google lesson plans, you'll find a whole bunch of lesson plans on how to use a Google search appropriately. Lean on your multimedia specialists and your librarians. They've been doing this work for forever and they really know this information and can support you in making sure that you hit this standard. And then we have in digital use, we have the ability for our students to actually create. So they're not just consuming, like watching a video or following along in a lesson plan. They're actually creating something, a digital artifact. It could be a portfolio, it could be an infographic, it could be a podcast. It doesn't really matter what it is. The idea is that they're deciding which are the right tools to use and how can they implement them appropriately for the classroom and beyond. The final digital use one, again, doesn't start until 4th grade this time. And here you're thinking about the commonalities between digital technologies. So maybe K3, they use Seesaw as their LMS, but when they hit 4th grade, they're using Google Classroom. What things can they think about when they're switching from those grades to be able to take the things that they've learned and transfer that knowledge? And that continues right up into 12th grade. And then digital citizenship, again, it doesn't start until 2nd grade, but here we're thinking about ways that information is shared and how we can manage our online presence. So, really important one to have those conversations with our students. And then finally, our last standard in the digital literacy area, subconcept digital citizenship, is identifying the actions that promote ourselves online. So we're thinking of ourselves as a digital citizen, and we're thinking about how we can support our safety and security, our physical and our mental health in a digital world. So those are the standards. If you want to take a deeper dive into the standards, take a look at the information on the Canvas page for these standards to be able to take a peek and see these standards in action.